machine. Scalping seconds, slicing fast. Ride the wave, don't let it pass. Green and red, they set the tone. Win or lose, I'm in the zone. Trade the dark, connect the line, profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean, living life on this money machine. Every tick's a heartbeat loud, high stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Risk and thrill, it's all the same. One more trade to up my game. Pivots turn, I'm locked and sure. Cut the losses, keep it pure. Every trend I see the clues. I'll ride the highs and dodge the blues. Pivots turn, I'm locked and sure. Cut the losses, keep it pure. Every trend I see the clues. I'll ride the highs and dodge the blues. Yeah, yeah. This money machine. Then this money machine. Yeah, yeah. Every tick's a heartbeat loud. High stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Hey, I'm feeling proud. Money machine. Every tick's a heartbeat loud. High stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Risk and thrill, it's all the same. One more trade to up my game. Perfect. Eyes locked on.
Big flash, green pops. Yeah, yeah, we win with that. Shots up, shots up, coffee in my hand. Little green lights, tell me where to stand. Red, green, dancing in a row. When they line up, that's my cue to go. Win with dots, watch them line in a chain. Tap that trend, ride the rush like a train. Spin that screen, I'm stepping in on the spot. I don't chase, I don't stop, I just win with dots. Oh, I win with dots. Fast move, heartbeat on the tick. Tiny little signals got me in quick. In, out, I'm gliding through the day. One small glow and I'm on my way. Win with dots, watch them line in a chain. Tap that trend, ride the rush like a train. Spin that screen, I'm stepping in on the spot. I don't chase, I don't stop, I just win with dots. Keep it hot, keep it hot. Up, up, down, I'm feeling that sway. Dot to dot, I'm drawing my day. Green for the go, red says not. I move my feet to the beat of the dots. Win with dots, watch them line in a chain. Tap that trend, ride the rush like a train. Spin that screen, I'm stepping in on the spot. I don't chase, I don't stop, I just win with dots. your signals, copying quick. In, out, I'm gliding through the day. Woo! One small goal and I'm on my way. Win with dots, watch them line in a chain. Tap that trend, ride the rush like a train. Spin that screen, I'm stepping in on the spot. I don't chase, I don't stop, I just win with dots. Keep it hot, keep it hot. Up, down, I'm feeling that sway. Dot to dot, I'm drawing my day. Green for the go, red says not. I move my feet to the beat of the dots. Win with dots, watch them line in a chain. Tap Screens glow green, coffee at 3, chasing that flash in the past I see. Little sparks popping on the chart, every tiny flare kicks my greedy heart. I win with dots when the candles run hot. Little lights in a line tell me jump in or not. I spin that wheel but it's mapped on the plot. When the trend turns up, I win with dots. Win with dots. Oh yeah. Tiny trails up the axis climb. Tap one click, I'm in just in time. Ride that wave till the rush feels wrong. Soon as color flips, I'm already gone. I win with dots when the candles run hot. Little lights in a line tell me jump in or not. I spin that wheel, but it's mapped on the plot. When the trend turns up, I win with dots. Win with dots. Hey! One more tick, then I'm out of this dance. Lock that game, don't give back the chance. Green and gray, but I'm good with the chow. Cause I came for the first, and I leave at the top. Oh, I win with dots.
Good morning. Good morning. We win with dots. First win of the day. I took it a little bit early because it's just NFP day. I don't want to be trading in front of the news. But I kind of put it on there because I wanted to demo to you what we call the great setup, just the absolute perfect setup. And one of the reasons why I actually left it early, you can see it, is that this is a setup that really takes no more than 3 candles to complete. If you're like in candle 4, candle 5, you probably should just get out, even if the thing goes to target, because it's an explosion setup. I'm going to show it to you this morning before NFPs. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Private Pit. Bob, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We're going to let everybody crawl into the room here before non-farm payrolls start. Hope everybody's having a good day. And I'll repeat this setup over and over again, but it's a very, very clean setup. What we're looking for is like 3 things. I'm going to move this off. We want a white dot, which is an early turn to trend. And we want a green dot, but the green dot has to be over green slope. If it doesn't have green slope, it doesn't have a setup, right? And when you have those 2 combinations, you generally have an explosion upward. And conversely, on the opposite side, we want a purple dot, which is an early indication of trend turn. And then we want to enter on the red dot against the red slope, like right over here. Just small, clean scalps for 5 points. Obviously, in this environment, it's just small scalps at around 5 points. But it can also be done against session highs, session lows for literally turn of trend trades. And these could be much, much larger. So obviously, a situation like this where you have a purple against and a red against the session highs puts you in a very, very good position for, what is that, 59, about 30 points off the highs if you're trading like a turn of trend trade. So you can use them for scalps. You can use them for turn of trend trades. Doesn't mean they always work. You will get sputtering. Like here's a trade that kind of sputters. You have the white dot, you have the green dot, and it really doesn't. You see the classic setup, the setup that you really want, gets done within probably 2 candles, right? If by the second candle it's just not done, it's very likely you just want to. It's better to do a time stop on this than to hold it to the bitter end. If you look over here, for example, on the downside, let me just do a candle. So this is the setup candle, and this is the trigger candle, right? This right here, the red candle with the red dot, that's the trigger candle. You see that the trade completes essentially in 1 candle. That's the perfect, great setup candle, great setup, where you have just 1, 2, 3. It should be a 1, 2, 3 structure. Boom, boom, boom. If it's taking longer to complete the trade, like over here, here's another one. White dot, green dot, obviously over the green slope. It just takes 2 candles to take you to profit, right? That's what you want. Here's another one. White dot, green dot. This candle takes you to profit. Patience is not a virtue when you're scalping. I guess that's why I'm scalping, because that's never my virtue. So the cool thing about this is that you have the structures and you give yourself 3 minutes. And by doing that, by the way, you probably save yourself lots of unnecessary stop outs, right? Now you may also give up a few positive wins, but remember, the wins are much more common than the stop outs. So there'll always be a win. That giving up a small win against saving a large stop out, if you think about that, is just a much better proposition, right? We always have trade-offs. We always have trade-offs in everything in life. And when you kind of think about this as a trade-off, it's actually a pretty good trade-off. Would I rather give up a small profit in order to save a large loss? And the answer is yes. I mean, if you're thinking probabilistically, if you're thinking actively, especially if you got to realize that just between 7 and 8 o'clock, just in 1 hour, this setup sets up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, right? So literally every 10 minutes, if you kind of think about this. So, and a new trade comes along every 10 minutes. This is what makes it such a cool thing. It's very active. One other thing that I think is an interesting filter that you may want to use. You probably, and maybe this is the reason why, although I think over here it wasn't the case. Let's see. The other thing that you want to use is you kind of want the range at the time of entry to be, for NASDAQ, to be at least 20 points wide, right? So if I'm coming in here, where was our time of entry? Here's our time of entry. Yeah, I guess this was 25. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the setup. It just simply stalled. The setup actually went to target, but it stalled about 2-3 minutes into the setup, and that's why I got out of it a little bit early. But yeah, the only other thing you kind of want to maybe filter against is tight range, like we have right now. So it's a super, again, there's like 4 things about this thing that make it very, very clean and clear. It's very, very clean, clear entry rules. There's just no doubt as to what's an entry, what's not an entry. It's very clear in terms of target and stops, right? You just, the only exception I would say to the rule is maybe you get like a huge, huge green candle. Although, no, you know what? Screw it. I think you basically just come in. I'm trading this with a 515. And if it faces retrace risk because the candle is enormous, so be it. You're looking to just skim the top. I'm trying to, what is that? When they skim the milk or whatever, they take the butter, they skim the cream. Yeah. Can you have the BFF on Tradeovate too? No, because it doesn't. I haven't written it for Tradeovate. I actually, it's a good question. I may be able to. I think for Tradeovate you got to write it in JavaScript. I don't know what Tradeovate may have. Well, maybe they don't. I don't know. I have to find out what the protocol is for writing and publishing indicators to Tradeovate. Maybe they have like a nice public protocol where anybody can write an indicator and just simply add it to the thing. In which case, then I'll be happy to make it for Tradeovate down the road. But we're all trading. Tradeovate, great platform, but honestly, the charting sucks compared to TradingView. But it's not it's not an unreasonable request. I could think about this. So we got 20 minutes left. Actually, you know what? We actually got to get serious. We got 20 minutes left in front of non-farm payrolls. We're going to straddle it today, and we're going to buy a couple of Apex. I'm going to buy a couple of Apex accounts in front of it. Now, remember, you can only do this on Tradeovate. Speaking of Tradeovate, if you're buying Apex accounts with our friends from Apex, do not buy wealth charts and do this. You will not succeed. What's going on? HGP error? Well, don't tell me that they're down. Oh, no. Wow. Is Apex down now? Shit. Seriously? Anybody else getting HTTP error? Is anybody able to get this? Confirm to me that you guys are able to log in or not log into Apex. Motherfucker. Are you serious? Okay, good. I logged in through what do you call it? Incognito mode. All right, if you're having problems, just try to log in through incognito mode. 610-761. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Bear with me. 656-926. 656-926. Okay, confirm. All right, make sure we're going to get a couple of accounts. Come on. Oh my God, are they dragging? What's going on, baby? You can't have your servers down on NFP day. Oh, no. Come on. Oh, there we go. Jesus. Okay. I think clearly they're having some kind of not on the trading side, but on the processing side, somebody's fucking with their servers. This looks like a DNS attack. All right. Anyways, we're going to buy a couple of accounts right now. Top check, bottom check, BK save. We'll get you 80% off, right? I'm buying 25s. You can buy 50s. I'm going to give you ratios for 25s and for 50s is what we're going to do. Come on. Okay. See, $37. That's it. I'm going to take this off screen, guys, because I don't want my credit card information to be visible to everybody. Subscribe and pay. I'm going to buy twice. I'm going to buy 2 of them because we're going to straddle this this trade. I think there's a chance that NFPs could be volatile. Oh, come on. Hit me, baby. Oh my God. I don't know if we're going to be able to buy them. If we can't buy them, if those of you guys, your account is not working, Come in as incognito mode. See if that helps. Fuck me. I can't believe this is happening. Okay. Trying to see if these guys will process. I'm not sure. No, not sure. Okay, hang tight, guys. This is the reason we gotta buy. This is the reason you gotta buy them ahead of time. I always forget that, sometimes you gotta inventory these. They're having some kind of an issue. All right, we might have to do this virtually. I'm gonna give this a shot. Let's see if they can. No, nothing is working. Okay, never mind. Okay, we will just. I'm gonna bring this down, and okay, we'll see. So I might have to do this virtually with you guys, but I'll set you guys up. So the reason why I think there's possibility of a pretty volatile event, and remember, the news straddle lives on the volatile event. Ben, what are you saying? So if you're on wealth charts, which direction do you lean? I don't. I mean, Ben, great question. If we're on wealth charts, I'd lean short. Okay, I'd lean short. Now, I have no idea, but I'm sort of doing conventional wisdom. On Monday, Kevin Hassard, who is the head of the chair of Economic Council, kind of like went on CNBC and said, hey, we think the data could be a little bit weaker for the next couple of months. That doesn't mean the economy is bad, blah, blah, blah. But he was just kind of pre-prepping what I think is a relatively weak number. The other reason why I think it's going to be a relatively weak number is that retail sales yesterday sucked balls. And that's a pretty tell sign. If the consumer is weakening, that generally tells you that there is not enough labor income coming in. And so that really opened up my eyes. Now, I could be 100% wrong. All economic data and all forecasting is just fancy guesswork. But for those two reasons, I'm leaning short, right? And if I'm leaning short, the trade that I want is obviously going to be 30 seconds beforehand. I want to short NASDAQ. Now, I'm going to type out for you guys the ratios that I want for a 25K account and a 50K account. For 25K account, we're going to go with two minis, which is NQs, two NQs at 156 ticks. Take profit. No stop. No stop. Okay. And for the 50K, it's just 4 NQs, but same setup. 4 NQs, but same setup. That would be the ratio. That would be the size of the things. It's basically we're looking for about a 35-point vertical move off the news. So, my instinct or my, analysis beforehand, we'll see if I'm right. Who's got, by the way, who's got like freaking, actually, you know what? I have, speaking of which, I have one Apex account. Ooh. All right, let's do this we're going to set this up. I'm going to show you how to set this up. This is a 50. So we're going to trade this with NQ. Let's see if it's going to work. This is, where it's we're either going to play it or not play it. So here's the NQ H's. And we're going to do 156 ticks. Oops. I forgot that I had one wealth chart left. No stop loss. Doesn't fucking matter. It's either, win or die. 156 ticks, about 35 points. And we want a 4 lot. I'm going to do a 4 lot here. Doesn't go up 4. 4 lot. Okay. And we'll obviously do this like 30 seconds. I'll may even do it I'll do it like 20 seconds before 8:30. We'll see, wealth charts sometimes they like to rip you up and rip you down. I may get stopped out even before the trade happens. But the general idea is I think the number could be weak. And if it's weak, it's probably going to dump NAS. And then NAS might pump because weak number means a possibility of a rate cut. So that could trump the idea of a weak economy. But that's sort of my lean. Given the fact that economic data over the last month has disappointed a little bit to the downside on the big macro stuff. The retail sales was a big tell. So we'll see. I think it should be interesting to see. We got 10 minutes to go. We'll set ourselves up. There, of course, the other thing is they love to pop it right before the open. By the way, this was I missed the setup here. Look at this. There was a clean. Well, there was a unclean setup here. This would have failed, but this one, the long side, would have gone nicely. By the way, the other thing that you can do, not that it works always, but if you want to sort of take the just the trend edge on this setup, you could just trade. You could just trade the long. You could have just taken the long side, the long trades in this setup. Although this long trade would have failed. This long trade worked. This long trade worked. This long trade worked. This short trade worked. The short trade worked. It's not like the trend is giving in this particular type of structure of setup. It's not like the trend gives you incredible edge, but if you want to trade with trend only, you would have been quite okay on this. The really good way of trading this particular setup that I showed you is to actually trade two sides, right? And also, just even like in this particular situation, remember if I have a 3 candle stop out, so this is a trade here. I'm going to give myself 3 candles. If I stop out at this candle, I'm in at 38. I'm out at 43. It's a 1-to-1 loss. It's again a small loss. This whole idea of using a 3-minute time stop on this setup is probably worth more than anything else that I can show you. It's probably the best trick in terms of minimizing your bleed on the position. It's one of those, you either you hit it or you quit it. We can shadow with 1 wealth charts and 1 trade evade. Oh yeah, for sure. That's actually a cool strategy. Let me just see. Maybe these guys have fixed it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Rock and roll never forgets. Come on. 8 minutes left. Will they be able to set me up? 137,199. 137,199. Confirm. Okay, maybe they fixed it. Oh, maybe they did. Come, baby. All right, again, 1, 2, BK save. Next. Are we working? Okay, looks like the server may have been fixed. Let me take this off. Let's see if I can just buy them. I'm going to buy them right now, and then we'll see if I'm lucky enough to have them set up in time. Okay, I bought one. Great. I'm going to buy another one. I'm just going to buy another one off screen here, guys, because I don't have time. You guys do the same thing. Buy 2 right now before the PK save. Next. Okay. All right, so this is a race against time. We got 6 minutes. I bought 2. Let me show you. So this is my second. I bought 2. It's only $37, really, really cheap. Go get a few of them. And I'm going to give it like 3 minutes. If they set me up, then I'll have 2 accounts, and then we can trade them. Yeah, Judith, we're trying to do a straddle. We're trying to do a straddle in case that in case you have just wealth charts only. My bias is to the short side, but I can't like I don't I could be completely wrong, and it could surprise to the upside, or the reaction could be to the upside. I think the straddle in this case is the best strategy. But if I gun to my head, I'm going to lean short here. Tom is asking me, how come I use funded account and not standard account? I don't know what that means. What's a standard account? Good morning, everybody. Well, it's very early. Guys, they're just crawling in. I guess people are just not used to having non-farm payrolls on a Wednesday. Everybody's just crawling into the show so early in the morning. I guess everybody's waiting for the. It'll be interesting to see because it might be just kind of a flash in the pan, and then all right. I'm going to hang on, guys. I'm gonna zero chance this it's ready, but I'm going to just pray that they set up the accounts. Let's see if they've done this already. Oh, son of a bitch. Look at this. We're ready to go. We're in business. All right, look at this, guys. So we are in business. I have two 25s. I'm trading 25s. So we're going to, in my structure, and we're going to just, I'm just going to set this up for you visually so you guys can really see it. We're going to go, watch me, NQ, right? This is on this account, and I'm going to, the two on the bottom, the 76 and 77, right? So I'm going to go 76. 76 will be a buy, and 77 will be a sell. So it's a 2, right? And we're going to go 156, no stop. Hardcore, baby. And what this is, if you want to go into settings, as you can see, is take profit only, 156 ticks, right? And cancel. So it's right here. And because it's a 25 account, I'm only using 2. And if it's a 50 account, I'm going to use 4. And we'll see if it works. Oh, because I'm trading prop along with you, Tom, along with you guys. I'm trading. I'm using. When I trade with you guys, I'm not like I could have tons of free Apex accounts because we're a partner of theirs. I'm actually paid for my Apex accounts because I want the same experience as you guys. I mean, the reason I do this is because I'm walking the same path as you guys are walking, so that there's no bullshit. I'm sure you guys have heard like how many influencers just have these fake accounts with lots and lots of prop firms, and if they lose, they just reset them for them, and they trade again, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's the exact opposite of what we do here. So that's why I have my own trading capital account. I don't need Apex standard account. I have my own real money that I trade as well. So that's the answer to your question. Yeah, the credit card that I don't show you is actually my credit card, not even my business's credit card. Okay, another chance on Friday for CPI. You're right. So it's it's win or lose, but what time is it? Oh, 7:28, guys. We got like okay. So now we're gonna focus. At around 7:29:30, I'm going to sell this one, and I'm going to buy the other one. You're going to see the results right over here, and we'll see if it's going to work or if it's going to flame out on both sides. But we'll see how it goes. 7:28 over here on the clock, as you can see. 7:29:30. I'm going to initiate the sell. And then I'm going to initiate a buy, and then we'll see how it plays out. So it's 2 NQs, 156 no stop. $729.3. At 30, I'm going to initiate the trade. All right, I'm selling this one, and I'm going to 77, and I'm buying that one. Now we have two positions. They're both working over here, and we have whatever time is left here, 44 seconds, 45 seconds. They're moving around. $55 seconds. I'm obviously not going to look at the data. We're just going to simply look at the price reaction here. And this one gets funded. Look how fast that was. That's it. This one gets funded. That one just gets blown. I don't even know what the hell is going on. Look at that. See that? Nice and clean. So clear. Was that the buy side? The buy side worked, right? Holy shit! Must have. So I was wrong on the sell side, which is why I said it's always a crapshoot when you're choosing directions. All right. The short got blown. Yep. Sorry, Ben. I just didn't have the vibe on that. Right. I thought you guys had to get funded in a second. We get funded in one shot here. Nicely. So beautiful. One account got funded super, super fast. Ben, I keep telling you, like, somebody had this great idea of like do one wealth charts, one Tradeovate. That's actually really, really smart, right? You should just open a Tradeovate account, and you could have offset it the other way around. But anyways, this is super nice and easy, right? This is the new straddle. I teach this to you guys over and over and over again, and everybody gets totally funded. So very cool. I'm glad everybody give me a +1 or give me a raise your hand if you got funded on this trade. I want to know how many people in the room did this. I'm just curious. You too anxious to get funded as you have 12 already? You know what? You can't have enough fundeds. I got to tell you. So yesterday I was joking around, and I actually think there's a lot of truth to that. I said I treat my prop as my demo and my funded as real. If you treat your funded as your real accounts and prop as your demo, it's actually a good mental model to work with. So it definitely works well. Me, Jimmy, you, very nice. Very nice. Anybody else straddled with me today? I feel like everybody just came to the show late. I mean, you guys are just all, yeah, Brooklyn Boy came in. Nice job. Brooklyn Boy, like, I don't even know how many of them you funded. Oh, now you guys are all coming out of the woodwork. Nice. Okay. It's great. And there's a lot of people, for every person that speaks, there's 10 that are doing it at a time, which is fine. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why straddling is the best way, because but it's okay. We can as I said, picking a side on this thing is very difficult. Anyways, let's take a look at it. I don't even know what the data was. I'm kind of curious. Let's see, where's my data? Wait, hold on. Forex Factory. Let's see what the numbers were. Okay, here we go. Oh, average hourly earnings were actually good. Jesus. That's really interesting. Why the fuck would Hazard just totally, this is so interesting. Huh. He shit talked the numbers. Maybe he didn't have the data. This is so interesting. See, like they totally. It feels like it's a psyop. They got everybody leaning short, and they blew through the long side. Wow, super interesting. By the way, I think this is kind of negative for equities because that means there's zero fucking chance that that the Fed is going to cut rates. But we'll play it. We'll play it as it lays down. You found a 3 but lost. So Brooklyn, tell me how you lost the 3. We got a little bit of time before markets open up. We'll keep looking at my setup. By the way, I'm glad is everybody clear? Oh, it's good. Martin. See, Martin, you that's the whole thing. You make money on one. See, like I tell you what's really, really cool about prop. It's a little secret. You kind of think about this. Prop is like an option straddle. I mean, the new straddle is actually, the word straddle is perfect for it. What I mean by that is it's an asymmetric bet, right? If you think about this in prop terms, and you could do this with any prop firm prop asset. So like, there's two assets that are sort of opposite correlated, or highly correlated that would go in different directions depending on news. So let's say you were, if you were long NASDAQ, you'd be short gold. Okay, that would be the trade. Because if you're long NASDAQ, you'd think that the jobs number would be strong, and strong job numbers is actually bad for gold because it increases interest rates and gold spiked down. Right? Did gold spike down a little bit? I would imagine it must have. Right? So actually, let me see if I'm right. Yeah, look, gold's totally spiked down. So like, you don't even have to be in a situation where you're taking the same asset one against the other. You could take, huge position on one, huge position on the other. And this is the key thing that makes it asymmetric. Remember, in a real money world, everything you gain in NASDAQ, you're going to lose in gold because you're trading with real money. But in prop, you're capitated. You're either capitated by your funding fee or you're capitated by your evaluation fee or whatever it is. You're always capitated, meaning that you're capped on your loss, but you're uncapped on your profit. Now there are a lot of prop firms like around. I met a few that have like no limits on consistency rules or trades or anything else, and if their rules are like, if you hit your target, we'll pay you out. You could really take those firms, take large positions in the opposite directions, one on gold, one on NASDAQ, get paid on NASDAQ. What do you lose $100 on your funded, and you get paid $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 on your account that pays out. So this strategy is not good just for getting funded with Apex, which we love, but it's also, it's also good for getting paid out if you think about this. Cheryl, you did it too. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Man, everybody is kind of like slowly crawling into the room today. You guys are all late. We already funded the accounts, but it's fine because honestly, the one trade and get done is a lot of fun, but the real money isn't actually trading the setup. So I'm going to trade the setup with you guys today. We're going to trade all of these accounts. And just to let you guys know what I'm trading on these accounts, I'm trading half a lot, 5 minis. So I'm looking for a $50 win per account, right? That yesterday I did it all. So it's like I did about $550. I just populate them all. If they all go green, I'll go recycle. If one of them goes red, I just leave it alone for a while, then I'll come back. And sometimes I try to repair that account. But if I win, I move on to the next one. If I lose, I move on to the next one. That's the idea. Before non-farm payrolls, I was trading just ones. I wasn't trading fives because I was like, fuck it. Although I could have traded fives, it would have been nice, easy. The reason why I trade fives in my funded schedule is because if you think about this, if you just do 2 wins a day, even if you do 1 win a day, it's only 30 days to get funded. It's 30 days to get paid out. But if you do 2 wins a day, it's like 15 days to get paid out, towards your payout target. or to move towards the buffer territory where afterwards everything you earn is kind of yours. So this is kind of the sweet spot I found, especially in this particular strategy. This strategy should be at very, very, very worst like a 3 out of 4. But if we're doing it right, and if we're sort of in the zone, if the market isn't completely horrible, it should be a 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7 type of a trade. So when you're running 12 different accounts and you're populating 6 of positives, 1 negative, 6 of positive, it just really, really grows the cumulative P&L in a very, this is the key thing, in a very individual fashion, right? If I was to do this in a copy trading, it would be do or die. I would, populate all the accounts on a couple of good trades. Then if I had a bad trade, all the accounts would draw down, right? So that's the I'm trying to trade all of them on an individual basis until we get maybe to the buffer zone, and then maybe some of them I'll start doing in a copy trading. This you cannot straddle with funded accounts. That would be super easy, and of course, they would be they would never be in business. They have to be in business, guys. Like they're not just simply. I mean, that's like handing out free money. But what I'm saying is, there's lots of interesting ideas where you're not necessarily straddling the same asset, right? If you're straddling 2 separate assets, that's not, illegal. And there's some really interesting possibilities to do that as well. You think inflation is going to be more important this week? You're probably right. I mean, Ben, I tell you what, if jobs are strong, inflation is weak. That's really, really bullish. Really, really bullish. All right, we're actually gonna. Which account do I want to be in? 52. Okay, I'm gonna go 52. All right, let me put myself into 52s. Thank God I don't have the setup yet. Oh yeah, I am in 52s. Okay, I'm in 52s over here. So here we have the first instance, and remember, we're gonna get like hopefully 5 to 6 in an hour of our setup. Purple, red slope. Right? We're just waiting to see if this setup completes itself. In other words, the red dot stays. If the red dot stays, we're going to short this for a 5-15, 5-point target, 15 stop, 3 candle stop. Meaning, we're going to give ourselves 3 candles to make this trade, and if it stalls, we're going to get the fuck out of it. 18, 19 seconds. It's still flirting with this dot. I'm going to wait till the candle completes, because I don't want to be taking a trade in the last 5 seconds and the dot disappears. It's clear that they're not really, really selling it hard, right? This is just profit-taking selling. This is not any kind of significant selling. You can even see on the deltas, it's all very, very muted deltas on the moves here. Here's interesting. Okay, I actually really, really like this concept, guys. So like I'm trying to work on a really cool divergence idea. So ever since Sam kind of turned me on to volume, which I used to always scoff at, looking at volume delta, I have okay. Let me see if this sets up. First of all, I got to focus on the setup. But I got to tell you, I have this inkling of this really, really cool volume idea that we can combine with our dots that I think could be really, really cool. It's just a matter of me trying to figure out how to express it so I can code it. All right, here we go. As I said, looks very, very lame as far as profit taking goes, but let's see if we can get the dots to the downside here. Okay, 34 seconds left, 33 seconds left. Nope. Looking to see if we get some momentum sellers, and then they're all pretty much buying it. I mean, the market is vibing positive, and then they're probably going to pump it on the open, and then they'll probably take it down a little bit later. All right, so we'll leave this alone. So here's my thinking about this that I think is really, really cool. Okay, so this is deltas, right? A delta is a change between positive and negative volume. So if net volume is positive, it's a positive delta. Net volume is negative, it's a negative delta, right? But what's a delta of delta? If you guys know anything about options, it's rate. Delta is just nothing but a fancy word for rate of change, right? It's a rate of change. Delta of delta is called gamma. The rate of change of like how fast is. So to put this in layman's terms, this is net positive buyers, but the next candle shows less net positive buyers, and the next candle shows less net positive buyers. Now watch where I'm at. Let me see if I can do this. Watch where I'm at on the chart. What do we see here? We see gamma's falling, right? Gamma goes negative, but price goes positive. It's like the perfect divergence trade, right? Now in this case, for example, by the way, you see how gamma goes positive. You don't want to short this. This means we're probably going to go and make fresh session highs. Matter of fact, I probably want to, if this thing, we have a setup where if you have a candle, green dot candle through the session highs, you want to be a buyer, which is kind of what I want to do. But anyways, you see what I'm saying? Like this, if you were short on the close of this candle, you had 3 negative gammas in a row. You were short here. This was a great entry for like 40-point, divergence entry. And I'm trying to figure out how to sort of put that into a systematic indicator that could be helpful to us, where basically you can short tops or you can buy bottoms when the gammas start diverging from price, when volume starts diverging from price. It's very, very cool, right? All right, so we are through session highs. I'm going to be a buyer of this, guys. 45 seconds left. Assuming they hold the green dot. Assuming they hold the green dot. 36. I mean, it's going through, trying to probably hit the 400s. We'll see if I can. Oh, actually, sorry. Is this a white dot? Oh, this is a setup for me regardless, right? This is a white dot, green dot. All right, right? Okay, so it's a setup for me regardless, whether we're going through the highs or not. All right, so this is actually, we're going to trade this. I didn't even realize this. It's a white dot, green dot. It's exactly what we're looking for. It's a white dot, green dot over green slope. Let's see if we can get a little play here. 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, long. Okay, 89 is a target. Oh, we're done. No? Oh, no. Oh, sorry. First, it had to, for some reason, it took a little while to get done, but now we're done on everything. So that was good. We got done on that trade. First trade of the, first. What did the Clean Software call it yesterday? He called it the great setup. We're going to call it the great setup. The first great setup of the day. That worked out nicely. Good for us. Let me just clean this up. Remove drawings. And then we can remove the the execution marks, so it's not so dark. Okay, moving on to my next account, looking for the next trade, so on and so forth. But the other thing is, you saw the gamma really build up hard, right into session highs. And the thing is that and if you guys want to play around with this with me, I'm happy to play around with you, with just a tiny micro structure with you. But what we need, in order to really trade divergence well, we need to have an intelligent rule of what constitutes divergence, right? It can't just be candle is at session highs, but volume is not at all-time highs. I think what we need is a declining It really here, you're not going to be able to find a lot of stuff. So here's all negative gamma. It's hard. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It's very, very hard to try to find a clean instinct of where there is like a clear divergence between, well, I guess you could say you had 4 at the lows, but delta is essentially positive. Yeah. If anybody has any great, grand ideas, but they're clear. There is something there between divergence in volume and divergence of price. Obviously, you want it to be probably only in North America session when you have lots of liquidity and volume means something. Like right now, you have rising gamma. It's certainly not a time to want to short this, right? Maybe if we have like 2 or 3 candles just hanging here and the gamma is negative or the delta starts to go negative, that might be a good indication. Sort of like where price hangs at highs, but volume isn't rising. Yeah, Peter remembers the guaranteed stops and targets. Yeah, that lasted for a session. But yeah, I mean, there are these interesting tricks that you could do. That's what makes prop trading so interesting, because it's not quite like real trading because of the capitation, because it's always asymmetric if you know how to exploit it, right? So like you could make this play here that, look, we have, and again, this is where it's with dots, we have very clean, clear, definitive rules. With this volume thing, it's still something we're trying to figure out in terms of what makes imminent sense, as far as where it's session highs. I guess like one of the things that I always love to trade session highs, session lows, because trading the edge is really, really a great, interesting opportunity. So like here we are, like I would probably say, okay, we're at session highs here, but we're having negative deltas. I would short this candle against the session high. If it works, it could be a 20-point turn in the trade. If it doesn't work, it's a small risk, because you are very, very capped at, you see this, you're basically capped. What is your risk here? 74 to like 15-point risk. If this turns, this could be a 50, 40 point, reversal. And you're clearly seeing that the deltas have turned negative. So you see the volume is just getting sucked out, right? We've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, essentially 5, 6 candles at session highs, and that volume has just totally dried out and died. So unless you think there's going to be fresh volume coming in, which there could be, but if you think there's fresh big buyers coming in, this is a reasonable place to think about maybe taking a short. Yeah, somebody says, Yunkin says that he's using divergence between price and cumulative volume delta. I mean, those are all good, but they will also, remember, divergence will fake you out a lot. The key thing about picking turns is that you got to pick more than one, right? It's an iterative process, and you have to understand that. I think that's the biggest mistake, and the biggest reason people get blown up is because they think a turn is just a single trade, when it's just simply a single attempt. You could make sometimes 6, 7 attempts at a turn before one of them really, really lands. So you have to be very, very new. Good morning, everybody. You guys are crawling in. It's 9 o'clock. We were early today we already got funded. So all of you latecomers, I'm going to tell you what we did. We did nothing more fancy than just a clean, good old-fashioned news straddle in front of the NFPs, because I really thought it was going to be a surprise one way or the other, and it was. The thing is that we all thought it was going to be a surprise to the downside, but that's the beauty of the straddle, is that you trade both sides. We went long and short. The long one got funded very, very quickly. I think the whole thing got funded literally in about 10 seconds, or got blown in 10 seconds. But it was a classic trade, properly sized for our account. We were looking for about 30. You're looking for about a 35 to 40 point reaction off any news event, any big news event, and that was a sweet spot. For the 25s, we used the two Nasdaqs, two large Nasdaqs. For 50s, you would have used 4 large Nasdaqs, and that's the right combo of size to target to keep you in the game, and then if it goes, get you funded. So that's what we did as far as things go. So far for all my speculation about pause was all bullshit, right? Fresh session highs, we took them out. I should have actually just simply traded this to the long side and stopped dicking around with the volume delta. But as I said, it's an iterative. Picking a turn is an iterative process, right? It's not like you get to make one trade. You have to kind of make multiple attempts. So what's interesting here to me, by the way, as I'm watching, is we're making fresh highs, but the relative delta highs are still lower. Like, it is tempting for me. I'm gonna see this. Like, if this, how much time do we have? 17 seconds. Like, if this delta, I'm gonna short this just for shits and giggles, but small. Where am I? Which account am I in? 53s. I'm gonna just do one for shits and giggles here with you guys off the top. This is gonna be me, Boris, trying to play God, and I just probably got fucked. Right, it went right through. Look at the volume. Volume totally spiked. It totally faked me out. It's fine. I actually, let me show you guys. I'm still in this trade. I'm still alive. Tiny little trade. But let's see where I'm at. It spiked. I gave myself enough room to kind of survive the spike. Let's see if this thing is actually going to come back down on me. This is just experimental. But the idea was, oh, look, we had a divergence between price making highs and delta not. Was this a high? Did this work? Yeah, barely. But now it reversed. I mean, so imagine you're in this kind of situation. You're an inveterate top bottom picker, or you're looking for like a swing trade. Imagine you took a decent position, like, not just one tiny little micro, but like maybe, 4 micros, right? You hold it with now the stop above here. And if they don't take out the stop, then you may have, anchored yourself into a really, really good turn place that lets you, you can then, trail down. And that's a really interesting way to do a turn swing trade. Not my style. I love, I'm always going to be a scalper, but it's an interesting way of doing it. But it's also can be imminently frustrating if you are not prepared to be wrong once, twice, 3 times. Remember, you're like wrong for 10, right for 50. That's what you're trying to do. Wrong for 10, right for 50, right for 60. That's the game of playing turns that makes it sound. Some of the really good guys could be, I'm wrong for 10, right for 100, right? So you do 2-3 attempts. Like right now, this attempt still survives the highs, right? Where we're basically, the stop would be here. You're anchored around this position, and if this thing comes, it's really overstretched. Everything here tells you that you could possibly have a little, 20, 30, 40 point correction, right? Deltas are starting to turn red. All of this gives you a very reasonable, but more importantly, highly quantitative, highly measurable risk. In a sense, what I mean by that is that the risk is highly measured against the stop. There is no doubt that if you get hit, if you're above here, you should be out. Even if it just spikes and comes back out, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The very fact that it went to the top and took you out is the reason why you want to be stopped out. You want to be stopped out. If you didn't quite catch the turn, you can always try to catch it a little bit later. That's what I mean about it being an iterative process. And when you're trying to catch the turns, it could take once, two. I would say, honestly, if you're being honest with yourself, unless you're very good or very lucky, a reasonable a number of attempts to catch a turn against these, very, very powerful moves is probably about 5, right? So you have to size properly. You have to, scale out properly, all those things, which I don't want to bother with doing. But that's kind of like probably a reasonable expectation. If you try to short the tops 5 times in a row, realistically, off this kind of scale, with proper stop and everything else, and it just didn't work, then you're what's known, you're in a what we call perpetual creeper, where the trend just simply continues relentlessly against you. You should give up. But right now, you survived the stop, you survived the top, right? If you're still in the trade, you're still in the trade. Now the trade is, what is it, like maybe 5-10 points in your favor. Now you're feeling good, right? And if they start pulling it down to just even down to the 400, right? You're now at like a 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. You're now trading really, really well. So there's a lot of merit to trading turn properly. And that's where the dots come in. It's where the whole indicator really, really helps you. Have the first, purple dot in place here, which is always a good, good signal. You can almost, in many ways, the purple dot on a long, the white dot on the purple dot on a short, the white dot on a long, is as good a marker as any. So you have the purple dot and you trade against session highs. You have a white dot, you trade against session lows. That's as good a turn as any. In terms of trying to find it. If you don't want to be, if we didn't want to be super fancy on the hey, I'm gonna spike the absolute highs. This isn't a bad place to come in also, right? All right, Clee Saber, have a good day working. Ben is saying that he might want to do NQ on one, ES on the other. It's interesting. I still think, Ben, honestly, here's why I would not want to straddle ES versus NQ rather than NQ versus gold. Anybody want to tell me why I would prefer to trade NASDAQ against gold versus NASDAQ against S&P, which seems imminently more irrational? Anybody want to hazard a guess as to why I think that would be a better combo? Or at least I would think it would be a better combo. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, no? Come on, guys. Think about that. Yeah. Judith is learning very nicely. Judith is saying more volatility. That's exactly right. So both of those instruments are high vol instruments, right? Which means that you don't have to be right too big. Like, it doesn't have to be too big a surprise for the volatility reaction to be big enough to fund you. Because remember, what's the target? What's the point here? You're not really trading to create beautiful trades. You're trading for one purpose only: instant funding, right? Instant funding. That's what you're looking for, and that, I think, can be achieved best through gold versus NQ. Now, if you want to do a more correlated asset mix that's a lower volatility, and lower volatility means, by very definition, if you're trying to do instant funding. By the way, we have a setup here, right? Where am I? I'm in 53s. I'm at 53s. I'm only going to do like, let's say I'm going to do just 353s. If this holds, here's my setup here, guys. This is against trend, but we have purple, red, 2 seconds left against the slope. Oh shit, I'm late. I'm late. So okay, let's see if this can move. Okay, I'm short this this structure. I don't love being short against there's such a big trend because the retrace here. That's exactly what what happens. I really only want to take primarily long trades. But if I get if this one clips me out, it's fine. I kind of view this as first of all, I did this like half size to like my normal size is five lots, 5 mini lots on per account per trade. This one I did 3. I probably should have done 2 actually. So if I get clipped out, it's going to be a smaller repair job for me down the road. But yeah, again, I'm not a lover of doing big counter trend moves against the trend until, and this is the key thing. Oh, it worked. Good, it worked. So that's nice at a small size. So that was the second great setup worked. But what I was going to say is the right way, like the really really good way, if you want to be super duper anal retentive about this, is what you want is you want it to actually make a top, right? Then you want it to rally, and then on the second decline wave, there's now a lower high decline wave, right? Somewhere around here. That's where the probability that the great setup's going to work is going to work really really well, right? Because the only danger of this is that it's a shelf, right? It's a shelf to fresh highs. And if it's a shelf to fresh highs, we got very lucky because I'm scalping, and scalping gives me the highest probability completion. But this was not a great trade. The trade, what's a good trade for us is when we're in a trade and it goes like 2 to 3 times our directional view. I know that sounds crazy, but that means that you were absolutely in the right trade. This trade just made our target, and we got very lucky on hitting it. Do I ever straddle the NQ open? Oh, Lee, I haven't thought about that. I mean, it's one of those. You're right. It's one of those. That's a really great strategy, Lee. I haven't thought about that. But that is, that's probably almost always good for 30, 35 points directionally, one way or the other, right? That's actually a really, really good point. Lee's making a very good point here. Oh, you know what? Let me turn on the comments, guys. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, sleepyheads. You're all fucking late today to the room. Everybody's just crawling into the room. Nice to have you. Don't worry, because we're just gonna trade our solid, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Let's make money on a scalp setup. I'll show it to you over and over and over again. You'll see exactly what it is. We already made money on the funded side. We straddled the news, and I put another 25,000 on the funded for me. But we'll have another opportunity on Friday. CPI. Just be here at 8 o'clock. The news is 8:30. You can't win unless you're in the room early. I see everybody starting to crawl into the room now, but it's fine. It was kind of a non-farm payrolls is always a Friday thing. This was just late data because of government bullshit. Who is sick of, who wants to be short every U.S. politician for kingdom come? Like, that's got to be the least controversial statement I've ever made. Are there more bunch of useless pieces of shit than U.S. politicians in Congress at this point right now? And also, can every one of them fucking retire at the age of 65? it should be, I am all for ageism. I'm all for age discrimination. And I am, at that level. Like, I should not be allowed to be a legislator 3 years forward from now. Get the fuck out. All the old people, into the old people's home. I am so sick and tired of like 85-year-old politicians who have literally zero brains to wipe their own ass to be a politician. So that's my little rant for the day today. I'm just, I've had it enough with Congress. Schumer needs to fucking go. McConnell, did McConnell die? So, or was that like I don't even know. But also him. But like every one of them, Grassley, all of them, both sides of the aisle, get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out. You're old, just die. As you can see, I have a very, very Russian, East European view towards life and death. It's not very sentimental. Glitch is still alive? Oh, but he finally retired, right? He finally retired. Okay. No, seriously. Jesus Christ. I'd rather have two young assholes fighting each other, because at least they have, a few brain cells so they can make arguments one way or the other, than, the two old guys who are just babbling endlessly because they're sitting in their adult diapers. McConnell's in the hospital. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to obviously make light of his health issues, but it's just too much. Like, it's irresponsible. It's just irresponsible to be in charge of the biggest political and economic entity in the world when, you're dribbling oatmeal every morning. And I'll say this, by the way, across both aisles. And if anybody thinks that Trump should go for another term, for whether it's constitutional or not, you're an idiot. I think he's fine right now, but you can clearly see the expiration date on him. I mean, he's not the Trump of 2016. He's still got most of his cognitive marbles together. Actually, this term, I feel he's actually a much, much better politician. But you could just really, really also see just physical decline. We saw what happened with Biden. And it was just a fucking disaster. We should not allow people older than 60 to be president. How did I get on this topic? I guess because the price action is kind of boring. But look at this, guys. We picked the top, right? I narrated the whole top. I said, what if we got in here 39, and now we're not quite to the 400, but this is almost like this is what I was saying. You lose 10, you make 40. You lose 10, you lose 10, you lose 10, you make 40. That's the turn trade. That's the turn signal. If you can have that mindset, then you can really, really kill it on these big turn trades. And that's what I wanted to show you. And that's where the dots come in. And that's where the dots are really, really helpful. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's a monopolistic game, basically. Yeah, 100%. And it's true, by the way, like everywhere across the world. I see the same bullshit. No disagreement with me. No disagreement from me, man. This is great. Who's the comedian? Oh, goddamn. He's so funny. Oh my God, I forgot his name. He's used to be on the Daily Show. He had his own Netflix special. He was, damn, I forgot his name. Come on. What is his name? But he had like a whole big bit about how you should let Asians, run the government, and it'll be balanced. The budget will be balanced in a day. Yeah, Ronnie Chang, right? Ronnie Chang. Ronnie Chang. Ronnie Chang was hilarious. I actually love Ronnie Chang. I'm very much in sync with a lot of his comedy. All right, white dot, guys. Now this is a white dot, obviously, against the red slope, so nothing coming up. But is this, are we creating is this a shelf to the rate trace? But here's what I want to show you. This is where I want to show you. If this goes back to session highs, great. Then it's a nice, beautiful turn back up. But where it gets really interesting is the failure. Imagine we have a white dot, green dot. Actually, the green dot trade, the great trade fails, right? What that means is now we've set up a lower high that then starts to create selling pressure, and we start to see the purple dot, red dot structure becomes a much higher probability short, because now we're shorting off a lower high. There's more pressure to the downside. You see what I'm saying? It's very, very cool how we can use classical technical analysis, basic price distribution with dot theory to kind of construct the highest probability scalps possible, really, really cleanly. So we'll see. Right now, guys, honestly, we shouldn't be doing anything. It's 9:15, 15 minutes to the open. So let's stop fucking around. We made some really, really good trades. I'm putting green on the board, all across the board. Now, if I trade now, I'm just going to force a trade. If it's a winner, it'll be a bad lesson learned. And if it's a loser, I would have deserved it. So let's not trade. We're gonna wait for 15, 20 minutes. Welcome to the room, guys. I see. Oh, finally, everybody's crawling to the room. Say hello to me. Where's everybody coming to me from? What are you doing, sleepyheads? I'm just teasing you, but yes, we were open an hour early today because of the non-farm payrolls, and all the price action was there. So, what is that? To the early bird goes the worm. Is that the Ben Franklin expression? So that's what happened today. We got the worm. Oh, you know what I just thought of? Who saw Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise? Sort of, I think, one of his more underrated movies, actually. In many ways, I kind of think probably just on a pure acting basis, that was one of his best roles, right? Although both my son and I agree that the greatest Tom Cruise acting role ever is Les Grossman, by far the greatest acting he's ever done. If this goes green dot against the green slope, it is a setup. You could take it, but I'm just not taking anything because it's 10 minutes to the open. I'm just giving myself a pause. Right? Yeah, early birds. So anybody ever see Born on the 4th of July? The movie, it's all about the Vietnam War, about a guy who's becomes fights in the war and then actually gets badly disabled, so he's in a wheelchair. And there's this whole scene where all of these veterans go to south of the border to Mexico. They're just kind of drinking their day away, and there's this. One of the guys tells him, you're going to get to a point where, they have a worm in the tequila, right? And he says, yeah. You think you're so much better than us, but you're going to get to a point where you're going to drink the worm. And there's like this scene, when he's sort of at the bottom of his mental state, where he just, sucks the worm from a tequila, and just made me think of that, early bird beats the worm, Not the right analogy to that expression, but I just thought it was a great scene, great movie. Anybody saw that movie, Born on the 4th of July? Really good movie. Good morning from Cleveland. What hours are best to trade gold and NQ? Gold is actually really gold. 20. I'm going to give you New York hours in military time. 1900 to 2130, 7 p.m. to 9:30 in Asia. Very, very good time to trade gold. Then you can trade gold 7 in the morning till about 9:30. So same thing, but 12 hours on the other side of the globe. 7 in the morning to 9:30 in the morning. With NASDAQ, the trade is really 9 to 11:30. 9 to 11:30 New York. Okay, those are the golden hours. Pete saw that movie. Pete saw it. Nice. Tony says we need AI politicians. Tony, I'm totally down. By the way, there's not even a doubt in my mind that an AI politician would be a million times better than a real politician, because this is totally random, but I just read this. It's really, really fascinating. So everybody know what game theory is? Game theory is like where, you have three choices. You have two people. They can either collaborate and they both win, right? But they get 1 point if they both win. Or one of them can betray the other, and if you betray the other person, you get 3 points. So and then if the other person betrays you, you get negative points. So the whole idea is when you collaborate, you make a little bit of money. When you betray each other, you have the risk of really losing a lot or winning a lot, right? And it's a fascinating game because it's always dynamic and interesting. But what they did, and this was the most interesting thing that I read, political science professor did an AI run 10,000, 20,000, 150,000 tests, of game theory, and try to figure out who wins in the end. Let's see if you guys can guess what was the optimal strategy to optimize political effectiveness and happiness, and who's basically the biggest winner. What practice did they do in game theory as an AI robot? It's really, really interesting. So yeah, game theory is a study of strategic interdependence. So I'll give you the answer because it's completely non-intuitive. The robots that won best would do the following. They would start out collaborative, right? So you would assume that your partner is going to collaborate. You collaborate. If your partner betrays you, you betray them back, right? But this is where it didn't end, right? If you just went into that whole betrayal cycle, those robots lost. But if the partner then started to collaborate again, you started to collaborate again. So it was super interesting. It was a quid pro quo idea. And I was just thinking about this. If you think about every single conflict, human conflict on Earth, and certainly, if we think about the Middle East as the ultimate human conflict, if the other party would just collaborate once and you collaborate, in other words, they go to war, you go to war. They stop the war and they say want peace, and you say, instead of saying no, fuck you, want to destroy you, off the face of the earth, we're also going to have peace with you. You would actually have the winning game theory structure. So the robots are 10 times more intelligent. My point is that robots are much more intelligent than human beings. They play the game properly. We just let the ego get in the way. So when Tony said, I'd rather have an AI politician, I'm almost certain that an AI politician would do a better job than a regular politician in strategic affairs, which is really, really fascinating, right? Really, really interesting. And you think about this, most of us intuitively do that, right? Somebody fucks us, we're fuck them right back. But then, bygones be bygones. I mean, guys do this 1,000 times over, because they are always in competitive sports. They're always in competitive situations where you always, egos get bruised, things and then, you beat each other up and then you shake hands and you play the game again. Not to be very sexist about this, but they did a lot of gender studies. And one of the things they found is girls, when boys are playing basketball, somebody does a foul, there's lots of screaming and shouting, they settle it and they resume the game and they play again, right? So conflict, collaboration, cooperation cycle over and over again. Girls playing hopscotch, one of them, breaks the rules, the whole game gets broken up, they all walk away, So I'll leave that without comment. Okay, what do we got? 23, still 7 minutes to the open. Everything really, really slowed down, as you can see, before the market opened. Lee, you know what? We're going to stress test your idea. We're just going to watch this. Interestingly, we're going to try to pretend that we're going to straddle the New York Open, just like we straddled the news. And what that means is, like 30 seconds before 9:30, we're going to just mark where the levels are and see if one or the other moves is going to go 35 points in one direction, which would, in effect, kind of fund an account, do a single funding of the account. Yeah, that is a really good point. There's no such thing as permanent allies or enemies, only permanent interests. Which, by the way, like, think about this, right? This is I always bring this example to people, because if you're old enough, you really, really appreciate this. In the United States, right? Who are the two biggest allies of the United States right now? This is, by the way, I'm not trading this because we've got 5 minutes to the open, but this is a classic, great trade setup. A white dot, green dot with a green slope, trying to move up. Probably worth the trade, but we're not going to do it because before market open. And also a nice little bump on the volume here. So the two greatest allies of the United States of America were literally two of its most vicious enemies. Like, in no way, shape, or form, if in 1943 you went to a German general, Nazi general, and said to them, you and Americans are going to be the best of friends, and more importantly, the Jews are going to have their own state, and you are going to not just cooperate, but actively participate and collaborate with them and buy all of their equipment and actually learn from them militarily. Not a single person in 1943 would have said that that is possible. But that is what that statement talks about. And the same thing with Japan. If you went to the Imperial Japanese Army in 1943 and said to them, you and Americans will literally be tied at the hip in Asia, and everything they do, you will do it. Everything you do, they will do. Like, they would not believe you. So, like, that's just a perfect example of that. And the most recent example is, if in 1967 you said to somebody, our best, most interesting, and most promising ally in Southeast Asia will be Vietnam, and all the Americans will fly there, not to fight them, but to live there and to do business there, and to, Da Nang would become like an incredible vacation spot. Nobody in 1967, everybody would look at you crazy. That's just really, really interesting. This is the truest part about history. Okay, enough geopolitical strategizing. We are ready for the big show. 2 minutes to go. 9:27. Let's see what happens here. So we're going to just sort of pretend on the idea of the strategy. So somebody was saying to me, that Martin was saying, doesn't that breach the hedging rule? Yes, it breaches it on a real account, but not on a eval accounts. They don't care. Like, Apex is very, very liberal on their eval accounts. So it's 9:28. 1 more minute to go. 1 more minute to go. We'll see how it goes. But remember I said to you, this was a setup. Let me see if this actually held. 32. Yeah, this held. This would have banked. You would have the great setup, like the great escape. It would have banked on this move, but I didn't want to do it in front of 915. Okay, so let's play this game. We're gonna market. Let's just say I'm long 36. I'm long 36, right? And I'm short 36. We're just. This is for shits and giggles. Let's see if we get enough volatility in the first 2 minutes for the straddle to work. So for that to work, we got to go to 70, or we got to drop to 400 for that trade to work in the next couple of minutes. So we got 35 seconds. One of the things, by the way, Lee, why this may not work today is because we already had the news event. Usually there's lots of market on open, market on closed trades, but we'll see if there's enough volatility here. So we're in at 36. As I said, the trade is we got 4 seconds left. If it hits 400, we're funded on the short side. If it hits 70, we're funded on the long side. And where did it go down? It went down to 400 almost. Well, it actually did hit, right? I mean, it's problematic. I don't know if you would have gotten done there. It looked like it just dipped there for a sec. But in theory, this wasn't a horrible idea. We did hit the thing, 35 things, and now we're going to reverse completely, of course. This is, by the way, where I would do is I would be a trader here. Like I love this trade here. So we're gonna wait. We're just playing games with each other here. I'm gonna wait over here on this candle, wherever this candle marks. Where am I? How much time do I have? 10 seconds. All right, I'm gonna go long 60. I'm long 60, short 60. This is the candle that I think, because this is either the bullshit candle or the continuation candle. So in this particular candle, if we drop back down to 30 or go up to 90, I'm done. And we're dropping down to how much? Not quite. I went down to 60 and we're dropping down to 35. No, I need to see, this needs to drop down to 25, right? So we're sort of, wow. Not a lot of straddle on the open. I'm glad we didn't do this for real. Kind of choppy. But a lot of times, you do get these huge, big moves, right? You do definitely get these big moves. The problem is, you can see, Lee, is that very often you get a one move one way and the move the other way. And if you're straddling, you can get stopped out and stopped out both ways. That's always the danger with straddle. That's why news reactive straddles, where it's pretty clear where the sweep is going to happen, are much better trades, right? So yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting to kind of watch the opening as kind of a straddle trade. We can do that tomorrow as well, just to see how it goes. Okay. New York session highs and lows kind of marked out. London session highs and lows over here. We're a little bit above London session. Close enough to the 500 level that it really feels like the market wants to run it, right? So here's an interesting thing we're going to be watching. Let's watch this. First of all, let me put a fresh account. I'm going to go down to my 54 account. 54, yeah, fresh account on this. Go down to 54 so you guys can watch this. 54 account. Let's see if okay. So this is red slope, red dot. If it stays red dot, so far it's playing around. Session lows too. All the stuff that we like. If this holds, it's going to be a short for us. but it's got to hold. It's like just it's testing the lows and coming right back. I kind of feel like they really want to run it higher, not lower. So I'm not trading. I'm not going to trade this. Even if this comes up into a dot, I'm not trading it now. So they tested the lows. Um, Tested the lows. I think they go higher, but I mean, yeah, I could be wrong. It's just my vibe is, we get positive news. We're within striking distance of the 500. There's a lot of stops over there. They certainly want to go grab them, but it's a question whether there's going to be volume enough to bring it up there. Back down to the lows. Back down to the lows. Red dots testing lows. 30 seconds left. So we're back in short territory. Deltas are very negative. 4 negatives. Wow. 5 negatives. They're just dropping them like a bomb here. 14 seconds left. They're kind of just a massive, massive delta dump. 8, 9 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sell. All right. And we're done. That was super fast, right? You're in, you're clean. Beautiful. Anybody take that trade? We got done. That's another, 50 points to the good. And we're going to leave it alone here for the time being. So no, they ran the lows, not the highs. Very interesting. Very interesting. And actually, remember I said to you I was short 60, right? So there was a lot of to and fro here, but that trade would have gotten done totally to the downside. So the straddle trade after the first candle, the 931 candle, maybe the straddle should be 931. That actually would have gotten done. So not bad. That was super fast. You guys want to see? I mean, you can't even see that. You can't see that on the execution. I'll show you on the settings. See that 84 to 79? That was literally 1 second trade because we got short here and they flushed it. They flushed it way down. They actually flushed it all the way down to 61. Just huge. All right, now they're building a white dot on the thing. So let's see if it's if we get a turn trade. Oh, but what I tell you guys? Oh no! I got all excited because I thought I was right, but I actually wasn't quite right. Remember I said even when it's short off a lower high, this really wasn't a lower high, but this was kind of a failure, double top failure. So the red dot was a good sell. Period. Doesn't matter how I was thinking about it. All right, let me move on to the 57 account. I'm just rotating through all my accounts and try to 56 account. The whole game here is to bank $50 a trade through like 12 accounts and then come back again, do the same thing, and move those accounts into funded territory, into payout territory. Good morning. Who's new in the room here? Come say hi to me. You guys having a good time? Who's new in the room? Session lows just above 300. The big question is, they're going to be able to take out the 500. That's going to be a really interesting question. Let me see. Since we got no setups for a while here, let's see what everybody is talking about as far as analysis. Let's go to headlines. Yes, job growth rebounds, unemployment falls. Healthcare. Yeah. I was talking about this. When we were talking about this yesterday, I said that the one place where um, one sector where you still see lots of job growth is healthcare, but it's actually very promising here that construction is up. That's good. I mean, that's why I guess Trump is really harping on lower rates because he wants the housing sector to be revived. Um, and government jobs decline. That's always a good thing. Huh. Okay. So not quite dead yet is sort of like the takeaway from the jobs data. The patient remains breathing. Yeah, builders love low interest rates. Of course, of course. Who's uh who's in a hot housing market now? I'm actually curious. Or who's in a cold housing market? Who's in Florida? Is Florida cold or hot these days? Anybody have any idea? All right, white dot, baby. White dot makes it hot. Um, let's see if we get a turn on the trade. This is. Let's see if this is sort of like the. What was this? So this is kind of interesting. If you just look at the price action, this is the news reaction. This is the shelf, right? This was impulse consolidation. We stop at the consolidation move right here. We stopped at this, consolidation level right here against the news impulse, and now we're just, trading around, trying to see if we can hold it. So again, if you're a swing trader and you're like, hey, you know what? This was the level at which everybody paused. I got a white dot here. Maybe I should just go long here against the swing low and see if they can run it back up to the highs. That's a totally legitimate, really interesting swing trade that you could put on. I mean, not a trade that I trade, but this trade that you could do. You're almost. It's very rare that you're going to get a V-shaped move. You're probably going to get consolidation, but this is a reasonable. Like what I would do is where would my stops be? Like right underneath here. Like that's where I would. That's where my swing trade setup would be. And if you're a swing trader, it's worth a shot. Except you don't have a white dot now, so you don't really have a you don't have a signal. Well, now you do. Now you're good to go. So that beat it. So let's imagine let's imagine we're swing traders. Let's pretend the fantasy, right? What's the most outrageous fantasy you could possibly think about? That Boris becomes a swing trader. That's less likely than the Germans and the Israelis cooperating together. Okay. I'll stop with my geopolitical jokes. But I know there's a lot of people in the room that love to swing trade. So this is a totally legit setup for you guys. No, it's glad. It's not that I wouldn't love to do it. I just don't have the temperament for it. I'm the type of person that if we're walking into a restaurant and they tell me it's a 10-minute wait, I'll make my wife leave and we'll go someplace else. Okay? So clearly I'm not cut out for swing trading. But you are, and you can use my tools to much better ability than I will, right? So like now you're long. Now you're letting the trade run. Although I honestly don't think there's anybody less patient than Kathy, in my opinion. Like in terms of like our conversations, we are always interrupting each other because we're always like, tense that people like. It was really, really funny. Where did we go? Oh, we were in Miami, right? We were in Miami, right? And actually, her husband came along with us, and we're just all three of us sitting in in the three chairs, and we're just Kay and I just talking, like normally. And he's like absolutely horrified, and I see like all these people like kind of turning around, looking, and they all thought we were having like a horrible fight, and it was just a normal conversation between her and me. Well, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, this is the stupidest idea ever. And it was just really funny. And then we like both looked at each other like, oh, I guess we got to calm it down. Okay, we got to set up here. Let's go. Bye. Oh, no. It's faked me out. Oh, I got lucky. All right. I really am a little lucky today. That was bullshit. You see that? The dot disappeared in the very last second, but I got very lucky on the move. So fine. Great. I already that setup got done, so we're just gonna let it be. As Yogi Berra said, I'd rather be lucky than good. But the true setup, if it holds, is probably this one. All right, let's go back to the 57s. We'll just wait patiently. By the way, the swing traders, you're in at 76. You're now 30 points to the money, right? You're now 30 points to the money trading it. So you're all doing really, really well. Most accurate astrologer says he's the same way. Yeah. Well, that's why, this is the room of degenerates. I mean, I attract people the same personality type. Okay, so this is the only problem. Like I guess it's still going to work. That trade still worked. It's still beautiful. By the way, if those of you who are on the swing, 78, this is a 50-point trade that I just called out for you guys. And it just shows you how you could use the dots to really, really trade yourself out, right? Really, really well. Anybody take the long swing? Ben, anybody in the room? And that would do the turn. So that's the other thing is swings only go so far. But this was a really good 50-point swing, right? And now we have just massive reversal. What the hell's going on? It's 9:45. Is there news on news? Do we have a 9:45 news release? No? Just bullshit? All right. Miguel, you took that? Did you take some profits? Tell me how many profits you took. Oh, that was Lefty Gomez? That wasn't Yogi Berra? Are you sure that wasn't really, Ben? All right, now we're gonna have to just have this trivia face-off. Who said I'd rather be lucky than good? Lefty Gomez, you're right. And I've always heard, look at that. You're right. Okay. Good for you. I always thought it was Yogi Berra. Because Yogi Berra said everything, right? Every single statement from the 20s and 30s, from the 50s, every attributes to Yogi Berra. You're right, Lefty Gomez. Good for you. Oops, what's going on over here? I got to reload my wealth charts. Yeah, we're gonna turn to wealth charts also a little bit later. Okay, white dot. We're kind of resetting here. Resetting white dot to green dot. Secondary move here. 25, 425. You nailed it. You nailed it. Look at that nice move. Holy shit. Good for you, Miguel. Ben says he looked it up. So you cheated, Ben. Nice. All right, we're just kind of chopping around. Pretty common price action post non-farms where you have a lot of digestion. And honestly, I actually think that the move here could be an 11 o'clock move, like 11 to 12 European final hour could be the move. You know, one of the things that I'm playing around with, I mean, the Asia session trades have been very, a lot of fun and good. And I'm actually, honestly, guys, if you're going to look, the one place, because I don't trade prop in Asia, so I'm not really scalping. I think if you guys want to join me for like swing-like type of structures where we're going to go for 10, 15 points in gold, that kind of stuff, I'm going to reorient the Asia session trades towards that type of idea. Today, we're going to trade for our friends at Think, whose platform I really, really like. Yesterday, we traded for Ola, which was really a lot of fun too with my scalper. But I think we're gonna really put those swing principles at work in Asia, where I'm a lot more relaxed. And then I was just thinking about the other thing is there's a lot of European customers that have been asking me to do like a European session trade. So we may do like 2 days a week where we do US Open, and then we take a little break and then do like 11 to 12, which I think is actually a very good, like Tuesday, Wednesday, or probably Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday is probably the best days to do the European close, which is an 11 to 12 hour. I think there's always lots of interesting opportunities there to trade. So we may introduce that into rotation. I may even do it next week, because everybody's gone next week. So I can do whatever the fuck I want. Nobody's going to bother me. So I may do that Wednesday, Thursday with you guys. That could be a lot of fun. For now, we're just chilling. No trades. I am pretty green on the screen with everything, which is exactly where I want to be. So you just let me rotate and then recycle and rotate. And that's what I want to do. Every day you put down money into the account, it's going to grow and it's going to hit it hard. Yeah, a lot of people like. I think the European close is an underrated trading hour, and we could do a lot of nice fun things. And also, I think gold moves around in that hour too. So we'll trade. We're probably going to trade for our friends at 8cap. The great thing is our friends at 8cap. It's a broker, so their spreads are tight as hell. So we're going to be able to really, really trade well, both scalp and swing. Maybe we'll do both ideas. Yes, that's how it works. That's how it works. I actually like Peter. I really like trading from California, which is a crazy time. But I love trading super early in the morning for the New York Open. I also feel like in California, it's so great. You can like trade till 10 o'clock in the morning and then you're done. Like after that, you can just have like the whole day to yourself. I used to when we were in LA, I would walk to the Westwood Starbucks, which opens up at 4 in the morning, and literally trade from 4 a.m. in the Westwood Starbucks. We have a sell set up here, guys. I'm yapping away, but this is a red dot against a red slope against the purple dot over here. This was not a red slope. This was a half slope, and it didn't really count. But we don't have a red dot now. The red dot goes away. So I am in the 57 account. Make sure I'm in the 57 account for you guys. You guys can see it. But no trade. I thought we would have it, but no trade. Not holding. But again, we want to watch this. So this is the other interesting thing is that you got to test my theory of like, hey, the lower high short should be a very high quality probability short, meaning that if you look at this, here's the session high, here's the lower high, right? If I get a red dot here, that should presumably be a pretty decent, a much higher momentum short than something off the top where there's going to be a lot more buyers, right? At this point, the sellers are, much stronger. Who's calling me? Of course, who's calling me? Who's calling me? Jesus Christ. Is it 10 o'clock? Yes, bad fucking timing. Yes, dipshit. Yes, it's not. Call me in 20. Oh my God. Sun is late, right? But I have to get up. Yeah, but I'm up at 5, and I used to be up like at 3:34. But honestly, this is where old age creeps in. Now I can't get up earlier than 5. It's hard. I'll be honest with you. But in California, I can get up at 4. It's fine. All right, come on. Are we getting a dot here? Are we ducking around? Nothing. 17 seconds left. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if this candle starts a red dot. Let's see if this is the short candle for us. Session lows also, excuse me, right at the 38 level, right? Let's see if it wants to do anything. Twelve seconds left. Tag the session lows, but bounce back. 8 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, in the trade. And we're done. See? Sniper, baby. Sniper. And then, of course, now we start moving on. But look at that. And now we break session lows. We break everything else. So you can coattail off my idea from obviously much more than I do. But really, stalking this trade just pays off. When I'm just all over the place, hey, let's just fucking trade, take a trade because it kind of sort of feels like my setup. I'm going to be killed. But when I am locked in, trades are hitting. Today I really was locked in all day long. I'm literally there's no red on the screen except for, of course, the straddle. Look, just all green on the screen, right? I got 2 more accounts to turn green, which I'm going to do a little bit later, if I have time to lock it. But that's the key thing: lock in. The dots fucking kill it as long as you are patient enough to let them play out. I hope you guys killed it. Who took that trade? You guys took that trade? All right, awesome. Awesome, baby. Okay, come join us tomorrow, 9 o'clock, regular time. Tonight, 7 o'clock for trading gold in Think Markets. Everybody enjoy. Of course, everybody get as many Apexes as you can because it's the really easiest way to get funded in the world, right? We get funded literally one account. I could probably get funded 1 account per day if I wanted to with Apex. And of course, anybody who wants my tools, who wants the tool that turns you into a real trader, my dots tool, join me for coaching. Coaching tomorrow night, by the way. And we'll talk a lot about all these different things. But again, the key is just locking in, right? Locking in. Okay, my friends, good show today. We did everything we wanted to do. We got funded. We hit every trade. We didn't fuck up. And I ran you through the great setup in its perfect format, right? Both through price structure and through dot execution. So I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. Miguel nailed the swing trade today. Anybody else besides Miguel take the swing trade? Come on, give me a little props. Yes, and Friday, Ben is reminding me we're definitely going to do CPI. We're definitely going to do CPI, and we'll see how that trades out. Okay? Okay, my friends. Everybody have a great day, great night. Thank you so much. I'll see everybody tonight. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.